Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Josh and Aaron Talk About Stuff. I am Josh with, and always, introduce yourself, man. Damn it.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm Aaron.
You never do it right, man. You never do it right.
I know. I suck.
God dang it. All right. Anyway,
Time to get a new co-host.
with my bro Aaron. Well, no, it's not that I need a new one. It's the old one needs to step up.
Oh, wow. Wow. She's a co-host named Darren. So you can be Josh. That way you can like...
It's like it's like when Tom Brady was out for Deflategate or whatever, and they posted a picture of him with like a mustache, and his name was Dom. His like brother Dom Brady.
Exactly.
But,
this is Josh and Darren talk about stuff because we got rid of Aaron.
Right. All right. As always, we appreciate our listeners.
Absolutely.
It's cool that a few of you like consistently listen every week, and that's just really cool. Like, I don't need a million followers.
I mean, it'd be cool.
Yeah, but I'm not like, man, we gotta get a million followers. I just like doing it. You know, if it happens, it
Yeah.
happens. I mean, guess I could pay the marketer a little more, you know. Me on the marketer. Anyway,
Right.
so Aaron and I decided we were gonna keep today's episode rather light, just because I'm sure you all out there, and Aaron and I for sure, we're just tired of all the nonsense. The Wheel of Time.
Dude, I want to watch that.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? But yes,
Yes.
I do too, because well, the books are like, talk about like the most epic saga ever written.
Right. It's like 14 books long. I started the first one just like about a week ago.
And let me tell you what, if you've never seen small type print on a book with pages, with the book is like 3 inches thick, man, it's like
that is a bad mofo, man.
Dude
that
had a lot to say. I mean, George R. Martin was long-winded, but this dude.
Yeah, this dude, man. I mean, we're talking like
it's literally a history. It's like a history.
It is, yeah. I mean, like it's a 14 book saga, and like I think it's 14, and like every book is like 700 or 800.
It lightens up near the end as far as like how like the book still looks thick, but they space out the words more. Yeah, I guess there was a little less to say, but the first 10 are like a trillion words, you know.
Well, because like because at the end he died. And so it was the last, I think the last 3 maybe are finished by another
Brandon
author,
Sanderson,
who's really good himself. Like
he did his own epic stuff,
but solid writer. So yeah, so that starts today on Amazon Prime.
It does, yeah. And I think
the first 2 episodes, I think they dropped.
So they're gonna do weekly instead of just all at once. Do you know? Is it gonna be like 10 episodes or 6? Or...
I think 10 is what I heard. That's what's in my head, but you never know.
I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast, but we definitely talked about it, you know, on the phone. Is like,
oh, for sure.
We were talking about Dune and how like we have we have the ability now to show these worlds that these guys created 30, 40, 50 years ago. So in the Wheel of Time, I would put right in there, it's like that we can finally bring this stuff to life. And I think that kind of started with Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
but
for
now
sure.
It's like
for sure did.
We can like these like these epic worlds that you have to build from scratch, that we can finally give it justice. Because like, anyway, go ahead. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, I was gonna say because Lord of the Rings, like up until Peter Jackson got his mitts on it, like that was considered unfilmable, right? I mean, for multiple reasons. Like, one, the story's too complex. You could never get the whole thing into. There's no way you could do it as a film, and then we don't have the. And then Peter Jackson was like, "I can do this," and he did. And I think, like you said, that kind of opened up the door to other filmmakers going, "Yeah, I can bring this world to life."
Right. CG had gotten far enough, and I really consider like Jurassic Park is like really the first CG movie, and it still holds up today, in my opinion. They pulled every trick in the book. They put a lot of money in Jurassic Park. So,
I remember being like an 17-year-old kid watching that movie, just sitting there going,
like, it's got to be real.
Right.
But I mean, they made real animatronics too, but so when they did Lord of the Rings, like, obviously there's some stuff that looks a little funky, but they invented tricks, to do stuff. They did everything you think of, but like that was any earlier and it wouldn't have worked. It was like the right time, and it really showed, oh, this is what we can do with CG.
Yeah.
And now we get to the point where we can do things like Dune, and
Right.
now the Wheel of Time, like these crazy epic worlds that
Absolutely.
have just been waiting to.
And what do they call it? Long form TV.
Right, I guess.
I mean, well, no, it's like it's like the thing. Like all these shows on like Amazon and Netflix, they call them they call them long form TV, where it's like multiple episodes to tell. Like I'm curious. Now we were talking about it, so let's see. Wheel of Time.
Real time fact checked.
Just checking. I'm series length. We talked.
Right.
Oh, like 3 episodes. What?
That's it?
Oh no, I think it's I think it's those. That's how many they released. Oh, they released the first 3 today.
Nice.
Sweet.
Nice.
That's some watching. I got some watching to do. I'm looking to see how many episodes they said it's going to be.
That's probably 10.
I'm thinking 10.
8 to 12. I mean, I don't know why
8.
You would want. Oh, 8. See, 8 is a 8's a minimum you need. Sometimes 12 can be too much, but hopefully they're hour-long episodes.
Oh, they are. They're hour-long.
Good.
8-hour-long episodes. So, I mean, that's an 8-hour miniseries, basically, when you get right down.
And I'm sure if it does well, they've already greenlit.
Sure.
I mean, this one could go on for 10 seasons.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, they could just this is like if Amazon's looking at this and he's like, that they're like, but Jeff Bezos is just going, wiping the drool off on this. Right. Dude, if this thing does good.
Well, it could be their Game of Thrones. I mean, Game of Thrones.
Well, yeah.
Really set a standard for fantasy TV series.
Right. No, 100% did. The one thing I hated is a review that was like, it's like they're trying to cash in on the coattails of Game of Thrones. It's like, well, actually, it was sort of written first. So
it was.
It was written 6 years before Game of Thrones.
I think
by the time
Robert
Game of Thrones had come out, and Jordan had already written like 3 books.
At least I think Robert Jordan is like George R. R. Martin looked up to him as a
lot of people did.
Right, it's funny how in your genre certain authors are godlike, but they don't really, George R. R. Martin just happened to before the TV series in that world, George R. R. Martin was big. Yeah. It just happened that whoever decided, hey, let's do Game of Thrones. I like the story, whatever. But Robert Jordan, even in death, is still a king or a god in that
genre, in that world. Absolutely.
With the amount of books that are written and how long those books are, he created an entire universe.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking. I mean, honestly, like I said, I think it's 14 books at 800 pages a pop. I mean,
that's a lot. That's a story, man.
That's like 10,000 pages.
That's a history.
No exaggeration.
That's a history of
10,000 pages.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. And we were, we talked about way back when. It seems so long ago when we started the podcast. Right. In our pilot season, we were talking about sci-fi and fantasy and how it takes a lot of effort to world build.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a respectable genre now.
It really is.
More than it used to be.
It is. Sci-fi fantasy has become, I think, a really respected genre. I mean, it will probably always sort of be the stepchild, but now it's the stepchild that you're the stepchild, but everybody loves you. So
right.
You get to hang out. So
yeah, and everyone likes to see monsters and sword fighting and magic, even if people don't admit it.
Awesome.
It's just cool, man. It's really cool.
I just don't like that kind of thing. You know what? You're lying, or you have no soul.
Right. Right.
One of the two.
It's And speaking of fantasy, Spider-Man No Way Home comes out in December, and I saw the teaser trailer, but then I watched the official one the other day, and I'm like, ooh, this might be the best one. This might be the best Marvel movie because
they've got
the whole multiverse. Is really cool, and it's really cool to bring back old actors.
It is. It's just cool, man. It's just cool to have those nods to past films and to past franchises and past actors, especially if they were like handled by different companies, even. But you're still gonna.
Well, yeah, and so that was the problem with Spider-Man for so long. I was owned by, like I guess in the 90s, Marvel was needed. Man, we need some cash flow.
Marvel was
sell
hurting
some
in the 90s,
rights.
apparently. We got to sell some stuff.
So Sony got a hold of Spider-Man,
Gobble
right?
gobble.
And
Fox
just
gobbled
recently,
up the X-Men.
Right, and so it was just recently that Spider-Man was able to come back into the real Marvel world, which is it needs to be.
Absolutely, it's the only
place. And I think they're gonna bring in the X-Men at some point, which is
well. I mean, because they bought Fox, so they
Right.
own Fox outright. Incidentally, Disney Plus was like, they did their like Disney Plus Days thing the other day, and they were like announcing all the different shows that are going to be on, and they announced that they are doing a show called X-Men '97, and I got shivers.
Oh man, I might have to get Disney Plus back again.
I got shivers when they announced it. I heard that theme music start up in my head.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
but yeah, so it's really cool, like that they're bringing back. Well, we know for sure. I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy that played Doc Ock. I can't hear you. There we go.
My mic went off for a
Yeah.
second.
William Dafoe for Green Goblin.
Dafoe for Goblin. Jamie Foxx for the Electro.
Right, so that means they're bringing in Garfield.
Yeah, Garfield, because Jamie Foxx and Lizard both are from the Andrew Garfield versions of Spidey, and then Alfred Molina.
That's it.
Doc Ock. Your name.
And
So
William Dafoe are Tobey Maguire. So they're going to bring back.
No, what's your real name?
Right. So they're going to bring back Tobey Maguire and Andrew.
Sure
you think they're going to bring both? I think they should.
I think they have to at this point.
Right.
I think if they don't, Marvel fans will like storm the Disney castle and like burn Cinderella's butt to the ground.
And like the Tobey Maguire ones and the Andrew Garfield ones are cool. It's just
like I didn't love the Garfield ones, but the two Tobey Maguire movies were great.
What about what do you mean two? Aren't there three, Aaron?
No, there's only two Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies.
No, I'm pretty one. There was a third one with Topher Grace.
No, I'm pretty sure there wasn't. There was no third Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Right, but it's cool that like.
No, seriously though.
So like the multiverse now, DC has a multiverse too.
Yeah, which is awesome that they're doing it. I mean,
and they're bringing the Flash movie is going to be like Flashpoint, where it's going to bring in multiple, and there'll be multiple Batman. So Michael Keaton, which is awesome that they're bringing him in. So this is cool to do something different. And anyway, the whole multiverse thing they brought in, like the comic guys, is because they had too many different writers writing too many different versions. So they're like
crap.
Well, let's just say that they're all Spider-Man, but there's different worlds.
Different worlds. Like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The fans will buy that. No, they did. So.
Yeah. So that movie looks like I liked Far From Home. I didn't see Homecoming Spider-Man.
It's really good. You should see it because I have a real suspicion. So here's the thing. One of the classic Spider-Man things, if you will, is the
storylines. Is that what you're talking?
Yes. Thank you. We'll go storylines. Is the idea of the Sinister Six, which is like the six big villains come together. Well, one of the classic iterations of it. It's always Goblin and Dr. Octopus and Electro, and then Sandman is usually in it, and Lizard sometimes is in it. There's 5 of the Sinister Six. Well, the sixth one is very frequently. The sixth one very frequently is the character of the Vulture. Well, the Vulture was the villain of the first.
That was Michael Keaton too, wasn't it?
And that was Michael Keaton,
right?
And he did he was really good in that. And so, like, you should watch Homecoming because I wouldn't be surprised if they brought him in as like that way. You got villains from all. You got all villains from all 3, and then you got the end. You get the the heroic. Here come the Spider-Men together and save the day.
Maybe that's how it's going to be. Maybe
I think it is how it's going to be. I think it is. I bet you. I'd be willing to wager like Toby and Garfield are probably in it for like 10 minutes, if that.
Right. But hey, that's all we need.
No, that's all we need. It's not their movie. It's Tom's movie.
Right.
But if they're in for 10 minutes, that'd be like the ultimate. So you just sit there and wait for like an hour and 45 minutes. You're sitting there just waiting, staring at the screen.
I think it's cool that Doctor Strange is part of it, and
one of my favorite characters.
What did you call Benedict Cumberbatch?
It changes every time. Bingerdank Thunderdatch.
Right. He's a great actor. He's a good actor.
Sometimes they call him Slumberbatch Ningerlonks. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't
matter. Always wished that DC would have done it like Marvel. Like, how Marvel started with when they finally got their shit together with Iron Man. The
steady buildup of it.
I wish that DC would have done that, but they didn't. But it could, like, Man of Steel, Dawn of Justice, Justice League is one big storyline. Mm-hmm. And I think The Flash is going to pick up from there. But, like, DC has plenty of great storylines. Like, they could have done, I think what they should really do is the Forever Evil storyline with the Crime Syndicate, which is like the different world, but like, they're bad. Like Superman's opposite is called Ultraman.
Oh, okay, sure.
And his Superman's kryptonite is kryptonite. Ultraman's isn't. It's like, and they have like Owlman instead of Batman.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and Marvel just went about it like the thing about Marvel was like they went about it like so methodically. Yeah. And like you wonder how big a plan did they have at the beginning? When they first introduced Fury at the end of, I think it was the first Iron Man. Maybe like
either that or Thor.
Yeah.
Going into Captain America.
Yeah, like it's just they had a real steady progression of introduction.
Well, I think they planned out a lot.
I think after like the first couple, like they're like, okay, we can do it now.
Well, it's probably like they really had a map to get to Avengers.
Yeah.
And then they're like, what? Even before Avengers even came out, because of the success of the other ones, they were like, all right, how are we going to get to the end? What's going to be the end? Who should we bring in as the villain?
What is appropriately the end game?
Right, and so they. Like it's an epic story and it's really cool. Like,
it is.
Bringing in the Guardians of the Galaxy was one of the best decisions they could have made.
Those are characters that nobody
that might be the best one.
It is my favorite. I adore the Guardians of the Galaxy. Rocket Raccoon is probably my favorite character in all of Marvel. I don't know.
Star-Lord, that's a cool name, man. I like they other than Thor Dark World, and that might be, that's the worst one I think of the bunch, but probably. They didn't make a bad movie.
And another thing, it gets panned and it can be the worst of the bunch, but it's still not a bad flick.
Right. I do like I'm glad that Mark Ruffalo became Bruce Banner. Mm-hmm. But I like Edward Norton.
Yeah, Ed was good. I think Ed had issues with like, I don't know what Ed had issues with.
But how come you can't, like, Disney, you can't watch Hulk? They don't own that movie, I guess.
Oh, I wonder if it's still owned by, because probably, so let's check. See who owned Hulk originally when they started it. Those first couple. I don't think those first couple Hulk movies were owned by, were done by Marvel. Yeah.
I didn't mind the first Hulk one with Eric Bana.
So the Marvel one was, it was owned by Universal.
And they won't give up the rights.
So they must be holding onto the rights for some reason.
Stupid. Or asking a stupid amount of money.
Or something like that. Like Marvel owns the character again now, but like they don't. But Universal still must own the rights to the character, the film itself,
distribution of it. Yeah,
distribution of the film. So
yeah. So got some good movies coming out.
There's some really good movies coming out. It struck me that yesterday was the 30th anniversary. A little bit of a switch here on it, but
for some reason I thought you were just gonna say Lilith Fair. Which I don't know why you would bring that up.
Dude, I went to Lilith Fair 3 times.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't. I did go to Horde Fest though.
Horde?
What's
Horde Fest?
Horde was like it was like, so if Lollapalooza was like the punky, kind of grungy, hard rocky.
That sounds like Warped Tour a little bit, or Ozfest.
Horde was like the hippie one.
Okay, like Fish.
It was like, so when I saw it, it was like Blues Traveler was there.
All right.
And like Ben Harper was there, and the lead singer of the Spin Doctors performed without the rest of the Doctors, without the rest of the Doctors of Spin. So it was that kind of thing.
Right.
But anyway, yesterday marked the 30th anniversary, and I bring this up because we've talked a lot about Achtung Baby.
Oh yeah. So this year's the 30th anniversary of a lot of great albums.
And so it's like, which is still remains one of my all-time favorites. It's like, but it just struck me as like 30 years, man. So 10, and Nevermind, Siamese, no Gish,
Blood Sugar Sex Magic,
and
REM's.
Which one is Automatic? No, it's not Automatic.
I don't remember. It's the one with Losing My Religion, whatever that one is.
On it. Yeah.
A lot of.
I was like, God, but yeah, but Achtung Baby still remains one of my all-time favorites. So.
Achtung Baby, what's that mean?
Danger.
Is that like, what language is that?
It's German.
Why did they pick a German?
Because for one thing, they cut like half the album in Germany.
Oh, so kind of paying homage.
I think it's kind of paying homage, and then there's also kind of, I think, apparently sort of a wink and a
nod. So what are the? I know
Bowie
Mysterious
reference.
Ways is on that album.
Zoo Station and Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses, and One, Till the End of the World, The Fly.
I think. You think that's a better album than the Joshua Tree?
I prefer it.
Right, but that doesn't mean it's better, right?
Doesn't mean it's better.
But
better being subjective in the long run.
Right.
But even if we're getting away from subjective, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like Achtung Baby. I think it's a little more like Joshua Tree is great.
Darker.
I do love it. Yeah, Achtung Baby is a lot darker.
Right.
Both in the theme and in the way it sounds. Like it's thematically darker, and it also just sounds darker. I don't know.
Yeah, cool. So speaking of like music, a friend of mine sent me this picture of New Kids on the Block are touring next summer. And with Salt and Pepper, like them, En Vogue, and Rick Astley. Never Gonna Give You Up.
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down.
And I'm like, that dude's still alive?
God damn, the entire concert is a Rickroll.
Exactly. Like, damn, you just need one song, man, and that'll carry you for 40 years.
It really will, man. Like if you can write one song that's just like so catchy,
God,
so just gets people, you're just like,
can you name another song that guy sings? Hell no.
I couldn't have named.
So is he going to be the opening act and just sing his
I don't know. He's just saying that song, and then he's like, "All right, thank you, everybody. That's my time."
I was talking to
that's my time. Today. Thank you.
I was talking to him about corporate rock, like Journey and Styx and Boston and Kansas, and he said Kansas was touring, and I was like, you can't name more than 2 Kansas songs.
Dust in the wind.
And what's the other one?
I only got another one.
Carry On My Wayward Son.
That's the
and I was like, are they going to be the opening act and just do their 2 songs and then leave?
they're gonna play Carry On My Wayward Son. They go, thank you, everybody. All right, this is our last song for the night.
Right, because they probably will jam it out for 10 minutes each. Like,
right.
But I was like, I was saying, like, just to stop. Just stop. Like the Rolling Stones should stop because Charlie Watt is not there with them anymore. Just stop. Like ZZ Top is touring. One of them is dead. It's just Z Top now. Genesis with Phil Collins. And I'm like, no, stop. The Beatles had it right. No. More.
Okay, thank you for the segue you created right there. That's incredible. That wasn't even planned. Yeah, no, it was fantastic.
What I do?
So the other thing that you need to get Disney Plus for is Peter Jackson did a 3-episode documentary of Let It Be.
Yeah, I want to watch it.
It premieres on the 25th. And
was it going to be on Apple or just Disney?
It's Disney.
But isn't Apple own Disney or vice versa?
No.
I thought they were connected somehow.
No, not at all. No, it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's how they get you. And I have watched the trailer for it.
Get it for like a week, and then but because he's releasing it the 25th, 26th, and 27th. He's doing it like 3 nights.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess he cut down like thousands of hours of footage, and it's like, you think about it, because this is Let It Be, so it's their last album, right? And you think about the fact that, man, this was the time of animosity for the band, and they were, then you watch that trailer.
Media driven, seems like. Seems like it was more media driven,
doesn't it? Like you watch that trailer and you're like, these guys don't hate each other at all.
I'm sure they had a row. I'm sure they had. As they like to say.
Oh, sure, yeah, but I mean, like John, there's like this, there's a scene where Paul's sitting there with a drink in his hand and a cigarette in his hand. He's like, fact of the matter is, man, we're always better when our back's against the wall, right, mates?
Mm-hmm.
And they're all like, they're just like, it's just like John's laughing and singing, and it's just like these guys don't hate each other.
Well, I mean, hopefully they do show some of the combativeness.
I mean, surely there was
with
tension,
all that, but like,
of course.
Come on, man, how you gonna trim 1,000 hours down to 2.5 or whatever the hell it's gonna be?
6 because he's.
It's gonna be 2-3 episodes.
I think so.
That's fair. Like, you don't need to see every. Like, I remember when Billy Corgan was they were reissuing all their early albums or whatever, and then like putting out like different takes of the stuff, and it was like people don't need to hear every burp and fart.
No,
like we don't need to. You don't need to hear all that. Like,
yeah.
But
like if there's some really incredible deep cut that you did that just never made it out for some reason, oh sure, we'd love to hear it. But here's a 3-minute track that's me tootling on the guitar, singing the lyrics one time, and then burping and going, "Hey man, I need another sandwich." We don't need that.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be something that I would like to look into getting. But also, don't forget, back to movies. Matrix comes out 22nd.
Absolutely.
Matrix Resurrections. So I'm gonna watch all 3 days before, so I can get right into it and watch it.
I should do the same.
Yeah. We got a visitor.
Oh dear.
Hey, buddy. All right. So the last thing we want to close out with.
Well, I got something I want to say too to close out with. So if you got something else.
Well, it was the thing that we should have talked about last week, but we're going to talk about this week. So you can go first.
So the first thing is we were talking at the beginning about how we just were kind of like
get back,
kind of a little bit over it, just talking about politics and the divisiveness of our country and whatnot. I was having lunch with my mom the other day, and she looks at me and she says the fact of the matter is, she says, this is the most divided I've ever seen this country. She's and my mom, you have to remember, my mom grew up in the South in the 60s.
Yeah, when stuff was pretty divided, right?
She was living in Greensboro at the time of the
man, that's a historical. I was actually there a couple years ago. When
she was living in Greensboro during the sit-ins, and she's like, and this country feels more divided today than it did then.
That's sad, man.
It is, right? So
like
I don't. That's why I couldn't. That's why I didn't want to talk about it, because I'm done talking.
Well, no, we've all reached our limit. But the thing is like, if neither side is willing to give in, then it's just going to continue. You have to.
There's got to be some conversation. Even in Bend the other day, like one of the city councilors where I live was like, she was passionately speaking about an issue that she believed in. It's a very left side issue. I'm not even going to go into it, but she was really passionately talking about it. She basically belittled anyone who doesn't agree with her on the other side of the spectrum, and I'm like, right. And what did you accomplish?
Right,
nothing.
The thing, I don't know, man. I do think the end goal, a lot of people on both sides want the same end goal. It's just the means of how to get there.
Yeah.
But like, everyone's got to give in on everything right now. I'm short of like,
like we've talked about, they're the big things.
Yeah,
there's the big things. You don't give in on the big things, but
Well, I mean, like something like if someone was like, "Well, we need to get rid of Social Security," like, come on, like that's not something that we can really, at this point, we're keeping it. Even if it runs out, we're keeping it. But like, you got to give in on, we're not going to raise taxes on anybody. You got to give in a little bit on that versus we're going to spend all our money on this. You got to give in, man. And you got to work it out. You have to put your pride away and say, what is our goal?
Try to see.
We want these. And we have enough history of economic policies in this country to know what's going to happen if one thing happens, if we institute one thing or the other. We have enough data to look at and stop making everything so freaking political, right? Economics doesn't have to be political.
No.
We know what happens if you raise taxes on the rich. We know what happens if you lower it. Anyway,
we weren't going to go into that, so we're going to stop.
We're just saying
You did want to mention one last thing before we closed off.
Yeah, so our last episode was the day before Veterans Day, and we should have talked about it then, but whatever, we're talking about it now,
Right.
And so I want to say happy belated Veterans Day to all those that currently serve and those that did serve, like my dad. He is like a veteran in the truest sense or whatever. He fought in Vietnam. He was a 17-year-old kid, begged his mom to sign him up because he thought he was doing what his country asked for him, and goes there. And then he's like, why are we even here, man?
Yeah.
Why are we here? Like, governments in the history of humanity have asked the younger people an awful lot.
Yeah.
We've asked them to sacrifice an awful lot, and maybe we need to flip it around. Maybe when you're 45 and up, that's when you need to get drafted. Like
your usefulness is served. It is time for you to go.
Well, I mean, like, why are you gonna send a 17-year-old or 18-year-old to fight? They haven't even lived their life yet.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Like, come on, man. But I, as much as I've harped on like the military budget and all that, I support the military. In this day and age, we need it. I don't think we should have overcome this idiotic tribalism on this earth by this point in our evolution, but we haven't, and there are evil people out there, and we do need a military, and they deserve every comfort available to them when they're done serving.
Yeah.
I
think that there's absolutely, it appalls me, driving. Bend where I live has a pretty, we have a homeless problem. That's just all there is to it. We have a homeless issue where I live. And, I wonder about the number of them that are vets. And it's like, in my opinion, if you served in the military, and you should never be on the street.
Right.
You did your service. You saw things. You came home. You never should be on the street.
Right.
Period.
And also, don't be mad at the soldiers.
Absolutely.
Be mad at the politicians.
The soldiers sign up to do a job that they believe in for their country.
Right.
Don't be mad at them.
Don't spit on them. None of that. Be mad at the politicians. Man up to them, because they're the ones who meddle and get us in these stupid situations. It is the Department of Defense, not the Department of Offense.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, we should be past, but we're not past. Tribalism is a good word. The stupid point of tribalism in our world, Earth. I know, I was gonna say country, but in our planet, where it's like, I guess it's human nature, if you will, but it is what it is. So we have to have a military.
Right.
If we dropped our defenses, some nut job would come over.
Yep. And it sucks right now is that if we pull out of certain strategic spots right now around the world, that place is just going to get run over.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And now we're in a catch-22 or whatever you want to call it.
No, that's it. Thank you, Joseph Heller. It's absolutely the thing. It is what it is.
Dropping some knowledge.
Dropping a little knowledge on you.
I do like, speaking of cool 60s books, Helter, no. Slaughterhouse-5.
Man, Vonnegut's the man. Vonnegut's like,
go ahead, man.
What happened? I'm looking at my dog. I was just like, no, what are you doing? What are you doing?
You've seen the movie? Go ahead.
Vonnegut's awesome. Yeah.
You seen the movie Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield?
I don't think I've ever actually seen it. Because it was like one. So because it was this was one that when it came out, my parents were no way they were going to let me see this thing.
Right.
And then I just never have gone back to see it.
Okay, so in the movie, Rodney Dangerfield goes to. Oh man, that's even wrong. That's way too raunchy for. Anyway, so he's at school, and he's skating by, and he pays Vonnegut to write a paper about Vonnegut. Because like the class
actually Vonnegut.
He's actually in the movie, like a little clip.
Okay.
And so he got like a C on the paper, and he was like, "I want my money back, Vonnegut." Blah blah blah, and he was like, "F you," and he's like, "Funk me, funk you." Like it was hilarious. Like they got Vonnegut in it, but Vonnegut didn't even get an A on a paper
about Vonnegut.
That was hilarious.
That's some funny stuff.
That he did.
That's some funny stuff.
All right, we're coming to a close here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. I hope today's episode was a little.
I hope it was just, I hope it made you smile, because it made me smile.
Yeah, I think I was gonna title it "Tired of It All."
Tired of it all.
Tired of it all, man. All right, you guys be safe out there.
Have a good Thanksgiving. And
One
all.
love, man. One love.
One love, bro.
All right, make love, not war. Make love, not war. That's John Lennon right there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.